almost anyway. I had an alarm set for 2:45. Stream was set for 3 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Slept straight through the alarm and woke up at 3:01.
Dang.
It's kind of crazy.
Kind of crazy. Kind of quirky.
Yeah. I had an alarm set for 2:45.
Well, that's your audio good.
Yeah.
Talk. Not you, me.
Oh.
Okay, I think I'm good. Sorry.
Talk.
Oh.
Yes.
Welcome back, everyone. Sorry we had to cancel. We had to cancel last stream just because, life. Things.
Yes.
We got busy. I got busy, more specifically.
Pokemon.
Pokemon?
I don't know, man.
That is a thing eventually. Although I don't know, how did the last how did the last one go?
I can't say anything without my lawyer present.
Dang. I'm trying to sneak out spoilers for you guys, but he won't tell me. Hi, Uncle. Oh, well.
Yeah.
What happened last time?
I'm reading the description right now to find out.
Was last time we started at the figuring out the mystery with Bern?
Yes.
Yes. So then we did that, which was really fun. I really enjoyed that. Thank you, Bern. And then we had like a little after party where everyone was like, "Man, that was really fun. Bernkastel, you should like be our friend and hang out with us more and be happy." And Bern was like, "Yeah, sure, whatever, losers. Maybe, though. Maybe actually, though. I don't know."
Mm-hmm.
And then, out of nowhere, some strange disembodied voice was like, "Do you guys really think that this is going to get a happy ending? You're really stupid if you think that. Dummies." And we weren't sure who it was because we thought it might not have even been Bernkastel.
Yeah. But don't forget the part where like we went into the mystery of Bern and Ange was there and she saw her whole family laughing maniacally.
Yes, I entirely forgot about that.
All the goats showed up and were like, "This is the truth." What they saw, like Rudolph family theory.
Yes.
And then Erika showed up and was like,
And then EVA Beatrice showed up. Yeah, and was like,
yeah.
A little bit more of telling of what is representative of what in the story, necessarily.
But the question still stands. Will Ange go towards the single truth that Erika and Bernkastel are trying to get her to see? Or is she gonna see the truth that Battler and Beatrice want her to see?
She really, really seemed to want to go for the truth that Bernkastel and Erika are trying to get her to see at the end there. She had a whole self-introspection moment, and then she steeled herself and said she wanted the real truth.
Yep.
So, we'll see. If the game gives me agency over her, I don't know. If there's a choice I have to make, I don't know what's going to happen. Because I'm not sure at this point what I want, even, out of this. But
it's okay.
Should be the top right one, I believe.
Oh, you're not sharing the screen with me.
Oh!
I was wondering what was missing. I'm sitting here.
Because I did share a screen with you, but then I had to turn off the game because OBS wasn't capturing it. I do remember that this is where we left off, so this one is correct, because I remember the last line being the inside of my nose itched.
It was very funny after the whole ordeal of lines before it.
Yeah. All right. Don't know who this is, so it's just going to be me for a second. The inside of my nose itched. I've never regained consciousness to a smell before. Oh, it's Ange. Or maybe Burn. Probably Ange, though. Slowly, I opened my eyes. Wait, when did I lose consciousness in the first place? I don't remember going to sleep or falling unconscious. That's right. Bernkastel invited me to come to a place better for drinking tea. That's when my memory gets hazy. And, since the smell of black tea is what woke me up... Where am I? Aurora's study. I hate to admit it, but her taste in tea really is excellent. I was sitting on what appeared to be a sofa in a dimly lit study. Bernkastel sat across from me. And, right before my eyes, was a beautiful cup filled with hot, steaming tea. Isn't this place... I remembered. I've been here before. Wasn't it...
Yeah. How pleasant it is to see you again, child of man.
I didn't think it was just going to straight disappear when I clicked that because it had the little arrow, and normally when it has the little arrow, it doesn't disappear. It continues.
Child of man.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, that voice. Just hearing it brings back memories. Long time no see, my master.
Wagarujiyo. I didn't think I would get the chance to welcome you into my study again. To think that that game of yours is still continuing.
I'm sorry, I just now read Duke Conklin's comment that he made.
Yeah.
And just calling Bernkastel the blue bastard is really funny to me.
I don't think it's Bernkastel.
Is it not? Is he referring to
I
Rudolph?
think it's a different character that returned.
Oh! Erika. I'm just used to calling her a rapist.
Well, she's the detective.
It won't continue much longer. This is the end. The true final game. This was the study of Featherine Augustus Aurora, the majestic witch of theater-going, drama, and spectating. Once, in the past, I was summoned by her in order to be her reader, her Miko. Don't tell me you want me to read again.
I wasn't the one who called you here. My Miko brought the two of us together.
Why? Isn't it obvious? To show you the path that leads to the truth. You'll show me the way, Featherine?
Well, I am the witch of theater going, though I dislike interfering with the actors on the stage.
So, would you rather watch Battler's boring play, or my exciting one that manipulates the branching paths of fate? I know you can't stand even a minute of boredom. As Featherine rocked her rocking chair, she looked up at the ceiling and chuckled. She clearly holds some key to the truth I seek.
And yet, you are literally the one holding the key. I can do nothing but tell you where to find the keyhole, child of man.
I don't remember saying anything out loud, but Featherine answered my question as though I had. Come to think of it, that's right. Featherine can read the thoughts of a mere child of man like me as easily as she can hear me speak. Well, I guess that'll help us get to the point quicker. Oni-chan did give me this key, but then he just said something about how I'd know how to use it when the time was right. He didn't say a word about what it was used for. Do you two know? What is this key for? Oni-chan said it was something very precious.
Explain, my Miko.
No way. You explain.
You demand that your master explain.
You've got to go on stage every now and then. Otherwise, you'll just get senile all the faster.
My. And yet, I just enjoyed some long overdue time on the stage when Ange was reader, which should last me several centuries at least.
Tell me, what is this key?
A physical manifestation of the decision you are to make. This tale, this game, will end when you are asked to make a certain decision. What you hold there is the act of your decision, embodied in the form of a key.
The physical manifestation of my decision. Exactly. Battler was probably planning to end it by putting you in front of 2 doors, both of which can be opened by the key. Then he would ask you to choose which door to open. He must have told you that much, right? He didn't tell me anything at all. He just kept saying things like, "You'll know when the time comes." No one will tell me anything. Not Oni-chan. Not anyone.
Battler probably wants to respect your right to make a decision of your own free will.
But Ange, you should have at least started to figure it out by now, right? Figure what out? There's an answer Battler wants you to choose, isn't there? Those words made my heart jump in my chest. It was what I had been thinking. Oni-chan is clearly trying to trick me with a vague tale, almost like a daydream, that'll take me even farther away from the truth. At the 1986 family conference, everyone had a wonderful time as they faded away. Everyone is smiling down on you from heaven, so you don't need to feel alone, even in 1998. So give it your all, and live on by yourself. I've clearly sensed Oni-chan's desire to end it like that. Every time I ask him about it, he dodges the issue and says something about how the decision will be mine in the end. That's right. It may appear as though Battler is giving you a fair choice, but he's actually scheming to get you to choose a certain one of those 2 answers. You've already seen the farce of a tale that he's using to do that, right? That bizarre Halloween party, with everyone acting so strange and friendly that it was almost sickening. I've already seen more than enough of that tale, so sickly sweet it makes me want to vomit. Where Ushiromiya Kinzo showered me with affection, where his children swore to support each other, where everyone was filled with happiness and hope. He's trying to trick me with those chummy scenes, so he can keep me away from the truth. He's such a coward.
True, it might be easy to call him a coward from your perspective. But remember, if you are a player in this game, and if Battler is the game master, what does that imply?
In the past, Battler was a player and Beato was the game master, and they each fought for their own respective truths. So what's happening this time? I'm a player, and Oni-chan's the game master.
Great.
Could it be that I've misunderstood everything from the very beginning?
Mm-hmm.
Oni-chan said he'd tell me what happened on that day, so I assumed that following him meant I'd learn everything. Isn't that the same as, say, Oni-chan accepting everything Beato said about the crimes being the work of a witch? What a stupid mistake I've been making. So, this game has always been a fight between me and Oni-chan?
I'm surprised you joined in without realizing that.
Battler really is sly. He quickly started up the final game without letting you realize that simple fact. Well, it was the same back in Beato's games. Battler was drawn into her game before he knew what was happening, before he even knew how to fight. That's why I taught him how. And now, it's exactly the same. You were forced to start this game before you understood anything about it, and I've come to tell you the truth. To tell you who you're fighting against, and for what. I was too shocked to speak.
Whoa.
And finally, I realized what I needed to accomplish in this game. I've always been passive. I was sure that Oni-chan would tell me everything, so I naively thought I just had to believe whatever he said. I was wrong. That's not what this is. This is a battle between me, the one who wants to reach the truth, and Oni-chan, who wants to trick me and chase me out into a 1998 where I'm all alone. All this time, I've kept on saying that Oni-chan was foolish and naive, and now I see that I was more naive than anyone else. And yet, Bernkastel didn't sneer at me. On the contrary, she looked at me with that cold gaze, as if to say, "So you've finally taken your first step. Now do you understand your own purpose? And the purpose of that key?" I gripped the key Oni-chan had hung around my neck, and for a while, I shook with an emotion that even I couldn't understand. Now I know that Oni-chan tricked me. It would be easy to hate him, but hating him would be missing the point. After all, this is a game between me and him. Oni-chan has done nothing but make the optimal moves for winning against me. It's what his character would do. If games aren't a playful way to communicate, if they're the process that decides who wins and who loses, then there can be no fair games. The best strategy is always to trick your enemy into defeat without telling them the rules before they even know what's going on. In that sense, Oni-chan hasn't done anything wrong. He's using that sickly sweet illusion to trick me and force me out into a lonely future. They'll be the only ones having a good time in the cat box, and I'll be the only one chased out. Thank you. I'm grateful. I think I've finally been able to open my eyes. Please, don't hate Battler. After all, one-sidedly tricking your opponent is what game masters do. I know. Oni-chan took the best option from his perspective. That's all there is to it. So, I need to make the best possible moves from my perspective. My goal is now clear. October 4th and 5th, 1986. What happened on Rokkenjima on those days? I need to tear off the veil covering the truth. Nothing more, nothing less. Oni-chan gave me this key, probably because he wants me to put it into the keyhole of his choosing. That's why he keeps showing me this sentimental illusion. But I won't be fooled anymore. I'll open the door I want to open.
Certainly, this kind of tale is more to my liking than one where Ange does whatever Battler says.
And then this time, I'll let you run the show from here on out. Tell Ange. Tell her where the keyhole that leads to the truth is. Tell me, where is the keyhole?
Very well. First off, have a seat. I'll go and get it for you.
It all started when I was born. When Featherine... Oh, sorry, Ange.
When Featherine rose from her rocking chair, my vision seemed to twist and bend. What is this? Some kind of interference? Why now when Featherine's about to show me something important? Why is my head getting... suddenly... I dug my fingernails into my knees, clenching my teeth to keep from losing consciousness. However, the world just kept twisting more and more. Except for the feel of the sofa beneath me, I couldn't sense anything at all.
Yep.
Lady? Looks like they've arrived. I'm back in the building again?
Mm-hmm.
The door opened, and Hachijo Toya appeared. What's going on? This isn't the world of witches, but the world of humans. I was sitting on a sofa, and Amakusa was behind me. There's no need to feel confused. Featherine and Hachijo Toya are the same being. To her, the difference between the two worlds is a trivial thing. To put it in the words of that theater lover, it's like having a slightly different background behind the stage. So there was no reason for me to feel hesitant. Should I call you Madam Hachijo this time?
How complicated names are. Even though both of us are still here, just like before, you have to wonder what to call me.
True. Calling you Featherine would be a bit rude to you now. For an actor, the name of the role they act is only temporary.
Precisely, child of man.
Featherine?
Amakusa's eyes went wide as he wondered what I was suddenly talking about. I ignored him and continued.
Poor Amakusa.
Yeah.
So, what are you going to show me? As I spoke, my eyes were caught by that heavy-looking object she held under her arm. At a glance, it looked like an encyclopedia with a fancy binding.
Do you know what this is?
As Featherine spoke, she set the heavy object on the table.
An encyclopedia with a fancy binding.
What? How'd you know that?
The first thing it reminded me of was a grimoire. The heavy book had a mysterious, mystical feel to it, like something Maria One-chan might carry around. And the most remarkable feature of it was the large, sturdy lock that held it shut. Why would someone go so far to keep people from reading a book?
If it is perhaps maybe the story that is only shared between two very specific people who are lovers, and also possibly the protagonists of this story, who we were told had a story that was shared just between the two of them at the end of episode 5. Or was it 6? End of episode 6?
Why don't you take it and observe the back?
The back? I flipped the heavy book over on my lap. And as soon as I saw it, I gave a small gasp. EVA Ushiromiya EVA. Without a doubt, those words were written there in Roman characters.
In Roman characters, of all things.
Yeah.
In English.
Mm-hmm.
Or any other language that uses Roman characters, because it's a name. So it would be
Yeah,
interchangeable.
Spanish.
Spanish, yeah. Romanian.
Mm-hmm.
What is this? Aunt Ava's diary?
Could this be that rumored?
Do you know something about this?
Just a rumor. They say that President Eva had a secret diary, and that she always kept it locked up. They say she took it with her everywhere she went. At least, that's what I heard from some of the other bodyguards.
A secret diary? Why is that here?
It was in the hospital room where Ushiromiya Eva passed away.
This diary was hidden beneath her bed. So, it remained in that room for some time after her death before it was found. Then, by coincidence, it was probably found by someone who worked for the hospital, or else a patient or their family. Of course, by that time, there was a huge movement dedicated to the Rokkenjima mystery. A locked diary found in the hospital room where Ushiromiya Eva spent her last moments would be absolutely priceless. The discoverer probably handed it over in secret to one of the witch hunters who would be able to accurately determine its worth. Luckily, the witch hunters who got their hands on this book were all noble and upright people. Not content to boorishly destroy the lock and reveal the truth, they simply satisfied themselves with the fact that the truth of that day slumbered just on the other side of this mysterious lock. Thanks to that, Ava's diary has remained undamaged to this very day. Eccentricity saves the day once again.
It is already known that Natsuhi, wife of Kraus, the oldest son of Kinzo, sealed up all of her complaints and repressed feelings by writing them down in a diary, which she treated like a sort of charm.
So, Aunt Ava did the same thing?
It's possible, at least. Opening up a diary like this would be a pain, even if you did have a key. It's sealed up tight like a corset.
Amakusa was right. This wasn't a diary made to be casually opened and reminisced over. It's probably safe to assume that she used this diary to forget things by writing them down and sealing them away, just like Ushiromiya Natsuhi did. Then, she brought it with her into the hospital room and hid it behind the bed without telling anyone about it. Don't tell me that diary is... Are you saying Aunt Ava wrote down what happened that day?
By reading its contents, you will probably learn everything.
How convenient.
However, we don't know where the key that unlocks it is.
How inconvenient.
I jumped. Then, I looked down at my chest. That's where my brother hung that key. Huh? It's gone! The key's gone!
What's wrong, lady? What key?
It's been hanging from my neck the whole time, hasn't it?
I never noticed it. You had a key hanging from your neck?
I understood almost immediately. In the world of humans, I haven't found the key. The me with the key is on the game board in the world of witches. Make me the me with the key! I'm going to unlock the diary!
Sorry. Just that statement just made me be like, dang.
Yeah.
Amakusa's really like, she's schizophrenic. She's...
Feathering.
Featherine lifted a finger, spun it around, and the world twisted again.
What?
When I returned to Featherine's study, the key popped back into existence, hanging from my neck.
But now the book's not there. Now... Yep. What a predicament. What a...
Herm.
But at the same time, the diary on my lap popped out of existence. Where'd the diary go?
It should exist somewhere on the game board. Since it is one of the keyholes you are to be given, it must exist.
Did Oni-chan hide it somewhere? Since Battler wants this to be a game between you and him, it probably isn't hidden completely.
What if the answer is you just have to ask Aunt Ava for it? And
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Even if Battler thinks of the diary as a king he mustn't lose, there would be no game unless it exists somewhere on this board.
In other words, it's somewhere in the Ushiromiya mansion.
Or you may already have been given an opportunity to witness it. Like how a swindler has already hidden a trap in microscopic letters on the first page of a contract you sign.
Where would we have seen it already?
Did you fill out a EULA?
No, I pulled for her in Genshin.
Oh. Because end user license agreement.
Yeah.
If Battler follows the customs of the mystery genre as the game master, clues must be shown. So the choice that leads to Battler's defeat must have been shown. Sorry, I tongue-tied. Ange, try and remember. You should have seen Ava's diary in Battler's world already.
It's not the book that's at Beatrice's grave, is it?
In that instant, from the back of my mind, drifted the very first scene of this final game.
It is. I was wondering.
In the chapel, a book was lying on the altar.
Okay, maybe not necessarily the one in the grave, but it was in the chapel.
A book with a lock on it. As soon as I'd shown interest in that book, my brother suddenly grew stern and told me not to touch it.
That's right, he got really, uncharacteristically stern.
Mm-hmm.
That was Aunt Ava's diary. That's right. Ushiromiya Ava's diary. The book of the single truth, with the truth of that day written inside it. The book of the single truth. Is the truth really inside it? After all, there's a chance that it's just something Aunt Ava...
I'll say it in red. Ushiromiya Ava's diary, the book of the single truth, has the truth of Rokkenjima during October 4th and 5th, 1986, recorded within it.
Dang. Ain't no way to doubt it.
Featherine redded it.
Yup. How much red have we gotten from Featherine? Not very much.
It can't be much at all, I don't think.
Yeah.
I mean, she's only appeared in 2 episodes.
True. But she's a witch, so you would expect her to give us some, at least. Yay! Happy! Yay! Yay!
Yes! Yes!
The discussion over Bernkastel's reasoning game. We're getting passionate at each of the tables. I forgot that's what they did. They gave Bernkastel's game to everyone else to do now. At some point, each table had started competing to see which could solve it first. Bernkastel. Haven't Ange and Erika arrived yet?
They should have been here by now. Want to make a bet on who arrives first?
I can understand Erika being late, but what about Ange? Just what kind of pit did you toss her into this time?
How rude. She's sitting on a sofa, sipping tea.
Hopefully the sort of tea you drink suits Ange's tastes.
Good point.
How rude. That tea would suit anyone's tastes.
Please let me drink your tea! Sorry.
Jesus Christ!
Sorry.
You scared me, oh my god!
Sorry. I want to drink Bernkastel's tea.
Who?
Erika would even lick the last drop of my tea from the bottom of a miso pot.
Please let me drink that pot!
Thank God that's where that went, not somewhere else. Now part of me is dying to ask how miso comes into this picture. Don't.
Don't ask.
Still, it's Erika. This will be a long-awaited reunion.
That's right. Come to think of it. Can't wait to see how long it'll take her to solve Bernkastel's game.
This sort of game is what that kid's best at. She'll probably read it from start to finish 3 times, and then just say the answer right away.
Probably. I look forward to seeing her give the correct answer immediately with that smug look on her face.
Come now, this is Erika we're talking about. She'll probably pull out some twisted logic and say that it was possible for someone other than Battler's family.
Me when she already did that. Good point. In fact, I'd like to hear her proud, twisted logic even more than the right answer. Apparently, Battler and Beato were looking forward to their reunion with Erika, for some reason. God, why would they do that? No. They had already dueled with Erika in 2 separate games. But now, there was no distinction between foes and allies. They truly wanted to welcome her to this party after the show, as a friend.
Still, it's a bit unexpected.
What is?
You know, it's surprising that you let Ange go this easily.
Making sure that Battler and the others couldn't see her face, Lambda Delta sniggered.
Is it really so surprising?
Of course it is. I thought that, being you, you'd torture Battler with one tough puzzle after another before releasing her. Or that you'd at least try to give Ange some weird ideas and have her turn the game around in the end. And I thought I knew you better than anyone else in the world. So embarrassing that I was wrong.
I'm sure it is. But don't worry. You obviously do know me better than anyone else in the world.
Yeah, of course. After all, I love, adore, and understand you more than any other person in the universe. Kira?
Star.
Yeah.
Lambda Delta was flustered by Bernkastel's apparently friendly words, which were very rare coming from her. Battler-sama, pardon me for interrupting your conversation. Ange-sama has returned. Oh, she's back? Great. So, is she okay? It seems that she was soaked by the rain, but Kumasawa is bringing her a towel now. When Battler heard this, he breathed a sigh of relief. Then, he turned to face Bernkastel, showing her a forced smile as though apologizing for still suspecting her just a little. Bernkastel showed no reaction, and simply continued to wear a blank expression with a slight smile.
Ange-sama has returned.
I'm back.
Battler, Ange's back.
Ange, I'm glad you're okay. I was worried. She stared at Battler as he dashed towards her with a relieved smile. Ange's expression seemed somehow indifferent.
That Battler. Looks like he thought I had you hanging by chains in a cave or something.
No. I didn't think you'd go that far.
I was just having some tea at the house of one of Bernkastel's friends. It was delicious.
Did it have dried plums or miso in it?
Of course not.
As Ange spoke bluntly, she walked right past her brother and exchanged a few whispered words with Bernkastel.
What is it, Battler?
Huh? Oh, nothing. Nothing at all. If he said he was lonely because his little sister was being so cold, Beato would either laugh at him or scratch him. After all, Ange was a girl at that age. She might be in a bad mood for reasons a boy like him couldn't understand. Taking note of this, and having satisfied himself that Ange was okay, he made to walk away.
Battler, Ange is calling for you.
Huh? Oh, sorry.
I've been trying to get your attention for a while. Don't ignore me.
I wasn't really ignoring you. What's going on with you, anyway? You look like you were in a bad mood for a while now.
I imagine Bernkastel gave us something strange to drink and pretended it was just some rare sort of black tea.
I have no business with you. Back off for a bit, would you? I want to talk to Oni-chan alone.
Come, come, I may not look it, but I am the wife of the territory lord. I'm already far closer to Battler than...
Sorry, Beato. Would you mind leaving for just a bit? By now, Battler realized that Ange's issue was more than just a slight bad mood. Beato puffed out her cheeks, as though she wanted to say something more. However, she just let it out with a sigh and walked away. Is this okay?
It is. After all, this game is between me and you, right? I'm the player. You're the game master. No matter how many pieces get between us, in the end, it's still a direct battle between you and me.
Well, it's true that I'm the game master, but it's not like I'm fighting against you or anything. This final game was held so you could be invited to the Rokkenjima of 1986.
Games are played to decide who wins and who loses. There can be no game unless you have foes and allies. Don't try to trick me.
What are you talking about all of a sudden?
You had me totally fooled. At first, I actually thought you'd take me to that day in 1986, but that wasn't true. This has all been a farce you created, hasn't it? You're using this sentimental tale to dodge the issue and leave me confused. You're trying to chase me into a lonely future with nothing but this cheap happiness as a parting gift. There's just one thing I've been after since the beginning. What happened on Rokkenjima on that day? And the only answer you gave me was this game! This sentimental party of illusions! It's obvious how you're gonna try and answer my question now. I want the truth, and you are going to give it to me!
Ange, listen, you've got it wrong.
Don't try and trick me! This game is the final fight between me and you! I want the truth of that day, and you're trying to hide it behind an illusion! It's exactly the same! The setup is no different than those fights between you and Beato! I was about to be chased off the game board with everything still vague and fuzzy because of you! Well, sorry, but I've already figured out that this game is a battle. Don't think you'll trick me so easily anymore!
Ange's shout tore apart the peaceful atmosphere. The family members and illusions gulped and watched the scene, wondering what was going on. Beato tried to run up to Battler, but he motioned for her to stay back. What is it you want?
There's only one thing I've ever wanted! The truth of Rokkenjima in 1986! That's all I'm looking for!
The truth is sealed within the cat box. It can't be reached by someone outside the cat box like you.
Is that what you're trying to trick me with the sentimental illusion?
Yes. This is an illusion. However, I wanted you to remember this fun atmosphere, the harmony within your family. It's not about what happened on that island that day. I wanted you to remember the warmth of these family conferences, a warmth you forgot.
That's just an illusion you're trying to impose on me! I'll reject it and deny it completely!
There is no truth of 1986. The cat box is empty inside. You're looking for something that doesn't exist.
I won't be tricked anymore. The truth of that day does exist. It was written down by the sole survivor and preserved to this very day!
Battler's expression faltered for just an instant, and Ange didn't miss it.
So he was hiding it after all. Oni-chan has been hiding the book of the single truth from me. Aunt Ava! For the first time since your death, I'd like to express my gratitude. Because you wrote down what happened that day. You gave me one last chance at learning the truth.
Ange-chan, you have to listen to me. Everything I wrote in that diary is nonsense, and it doesn't mean...
There's no point in trying to deceive me. It's already been proven and read that your diary has the truth of that day in it.
Absurd. How could anyone but Battler, the game master, use the red truth?
It's so Aurora, isn't it?
Peter. The witch is here.
True.
That's right. The Book of the Single Truth exists in 1998, the world of the future. Who else could perform the crucial role of confirming its contents with the red truth? I've heard everything from Bernkastel. I've been fooled by you long enough. I don't want some sentimental illusion. I want the real truth. And no matter how hard you try to cover it up in 1986, I can expose it in 1998. After all, you are the Beatrice of 1986, Oni-chan, and I'm the Beatrice of 1998.
A cyclone rose up around Ange. It was a golden swirl of gold butterflies, just like the golden witch, Beatrice. Oh, thank God. Wow!
Yeah.
Look at this!
Which I think this is also in the tips menu now.
That's a nice little circle. Yeah, look at her!
Does she? Yeah, she has the one-winged eagle.
Yep. The witch who rules over the future in 1998. She stands completely on the outside of the cat box, making her entirely different from all the other witches. Just what will she find in this final game? Her hair pieces are black now.
She's on the path of becoming a black witch.
Yep.
I am Ange Beatrice of 1998, the final Golden Witch. No witch of the past can defeat the witch of the future.
The cyclone of gold broke apart, and as gold leaves scattered across the room, the final witch, who would inherit Beatrice's name in the future, appeared.
Ange, Beatrice.
You're the golden and endless witch, but I'm different. I'm the golden witch of truth. No illusion can stand in my way. Yes, this is the end of Oni-chan's boring party. Now it's time for my party to start. I've even ready to game to liven things up. You're up, Aunt Ava.
When Ange snapped her fingers, she vanished along with a swirl of gold butterflies. Replacing her in the middle of that cyclone was a girl wearing a dress, bowing modestly. Wrong,
Yeah.
Aunt Ava. Wrong.
What she said.
You!
That's pretty rude, you know. Inviting everyone to the party except me.
Yo.
Sorry, I don't know why I thought I was going. Go ahead.
Wrong Beatrice.
Yep.
You had Ange Beatrice.
Yep.
You're Ava. The sole survivor of Rokkenjima. And the witch of the future, the golden and endless witch from 1986 to 1998. In the world of the future, Battler Crone's sentimental illusion is more fragile than a flake of snow on a lake. Okay, let's have some fun. Come, try to remember, all of you. Remember your endless theory making. That's us, Levi.
Yep. When Ava held out her hand to the heavens, light gathered there and took the form of a bottle. Yes, a bottle. A glass bottle with no label. There was no alcohol inside. Sealed within it was a fragment that let off a pale, sinister light.
Battler! This is bad. She must not smash that bottle.
Oh,
Well, that was fast.
Okay, it's showtime!
Maria, we need some White Witch stuff right now, Maria. Can you, Maria, we need to redo all of episode 4 right now and remind Ange of the good. There's some good in this world and it's worth fighting for.
Maria's hitting you with the, the
Magic
cut it symbol.
exists.
I'm imagining her just like doing the, like go to commercial, go to
Yep.
commercial.
What's that one that it's like the founder or the CEO of the WWE does? Where he's like half looking at the camera and he's just doing the That's Maria right now.
Yep.
Oh. The bottle was slammed against the floor and smashed to pieces. As soon as the fragment within it touched the outside air, it flashed white and burst.
Oh,
At first, it seemed that nothing had happened. However, Eva grinned at them before becoming a cloud of butterflies and vanishing. It's gonna be a dang golden witch fight. At some point. We haven't had one of those since episode 2? 3? When did she
Golden
fight
Witch
Virgilia?
fight? She fought Virgilia in 3.
3?
And then she also fought Ava in 3 a little bit.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Fought is a bit of a exaggeration for episode 3.
Yeah. That was the last
But it was on purpose.
Golden Witch versus Golden Witch. That was the last one.
Yeah. At some point, Bernkastel must have vanished as well. Bernkastel's just the second in command this time. She's just... She's not even the bad guy anymore. What did she do?
It was probably a fragment she brought back with her from the world of the future. Perhaps we could call it the contents of the catbox in the future.
What does all this mean? What? At that moment, they heard a thundering roar. It was as though large chunks of hail had started falling everywhere. An earthquake accompanied that noise, and the whole mansion creaked. Dust began to fall from the ceiling. Oh, my voice. At the same time, it seemed as though the curtain-covered window glowed with a pale light.
What on earth is going on? Kyrie, look outside! What the hell is that?
Everyone rushed to the window in response to her voice.
Guys, you're gonna want to see this.
True.
Of course. Battler and Beatrice went too. Whoa! Then they drew the curtains, looked at the scene outside, and were stunned into silence. It's raining blue crystal. Oh my gosh, even the menu's blue. Even. Why are you blue?
The fragments. How beautiful.
Are all the fragments being like converged together now? Kenzo's
future.
words echoed the first impression felt by all who looked out at the scene beyond the windows. Or is this like supposed to be all of the theories that everyone has made since 1986? Is that what it's supposed to be?
Give it a little bit.
Not all beauty is benign.
They always say that beauty has thorns, yeah.
Though everyone found the scene beautiful, they all sensed impending misfortune from it.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of that Darkest Dungeon DLC.
True.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yep, blue farm crystals.
Yep.
Outside the window, countless small objects, pale, glowing fragments of crystals, lay strewn about everywhere like fallen hail. The word fantastical perfectly summed up the scene that lay before them in the glowing rose garden.
I saw something move over there.
Hey, is there someone over there? Wait, huh?
A
person just grew out of that glowing fragment.
7 Sisters of Purgatory battle formation!
With those words of Lucifer's, everyone finally realized that they were being surrounded by danger. Oh. Well, that ain't good. One by one, the countless fragments shook and burst, and large dark bodies rose up from inside each.
Remember that joke we made where we were like, if the Rokkenjima stuff happened in the real world, there'll be a million podcasts and people talking about it?
Is that what this is right now? That's right.
It's us, Levi.
Dang. They were giants with goat heads. Call me David. One after another, they appeared from the insides of broken fragments. Those fragments lay all over the rose garden in vast numbers and made the ground glow, so that everyone inside was forced to shudder.
45, wide area surveillance.
My radar is filled with white. We are either being jammed or the vast number of readings is making a count of enemy numbers impossible.
Even as she said this, the glowing rose garden outside the window was being filled with giant goats. The fragments carrying the goats weren't just in the rose garden. They were spread evenly across the entire island. Not just the rose garden, but the entire area around the mansion was being covered with goats by now.
Allow us to speak.
And know that we are completely surrounded.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Yeah, we noticed.
What'll you do now, Battler?
Only one thing to do with uninvited guests. Let's chase them off. Who are these people? I'm guessing these aren't your minions, right, Beato?
The code forms they hold are probably just imitations of the pieces on this game board.
They aren't reached as early as minions. This is something worse.
I see. So, they are manifestations of message bottles.
Message bottles? The ones Beato made? Not quite. These are fragments of what people in the future have imagined.
Endless possibilities are hidden within the cat box. Because of that, those outside the box can imagine the insides to be any one of an infinite number of things. It would seem those endless delusions are the true form of these creatures.
What will those goats do to us? I wonder.
It doesn't look like they're here to give us a handshake and a pat on the back.
Those people, those lowlifes, making up and passing around stories, imagining the tragedies that might have unfolded around us on this island. They found it so fascinating that I never talked about the truth. That they kept on creating tragedies one after another for their own enjoyment.
I see. So, they're fragments from the future, imagining the cat box of 1986 however they please.
In the world of the future, any and all interpretations can and do exist. And everything's chrome. Unless we deny them, everyone will be able to claim that their own view is the truth, and they will remain on this island.
What a fix we're in!
Zepar, not now.
Looks like we're surrounded and fighting for our lives.
Fur, not now.
Oh gosh.
What are they doing?
They're eating something.
Darren!
True. They're eating the roses?
The crowd of goats was squirming about and doing something. If you look closely, you could see them sticking their heads into rose bushes and munching away. And it wasn't just rose bushes. Are they eating everything? Yup. Light poles, the bricks of the flower beds, and even the stone paving itself. They were biting all of it. Almost as if they were trying to eat up the whole island. This is not where I expected this to go, but I'm here for it. This is crazy. This is a crazy finale, man.
I love the symbolism with this, but anyway.
Yeah.
No, they aren't just eating. If they aren't eating, what are they doing?
Isn't it not crazy that 3 people on screen right now are one person?
Yeah.
Sorry. Anyway. So I had to say that.
That is not eating. They are eroding it, shaving away at the edges. The edges of the game board itself.
They're eating the game board? Hey, Ange, it's kind of hard to have a game if you're just gonna destroy the game board.
True, me using the flamethrower on the chess set.
Yep. Like,
in the world of the future, everyone believes we were swallowed up by tragedy today. That's why they won't accept a truth where we enjoy ourselves in peace.
Truths of the past are subordinate to truths of the future. The merciless future fangs and jaws of those goats refuse to accept our truth and are eroding it, replacing it with the kind of truth they expect.
damn it. This is our truth. It's not for those people in the future who have nothing to do with us anyway to rewrite as they please. Well, we gotta fight back somehow.
But
Just
how?
sit here. Don't you? The garden outside the window was now filled with too many goats to count, all chewing away. This repulsive scene stole the words from everyone's lips. They weren't stunned into silence. There was just no point in making a fuss and letting the goats know a certain fact. No point in letting them know that there was plenty of prey waiting in this bright, warm room. Prey that was softer and easier to chew than roses or bricks.
That goat there, he's looking at us.
Shoot him. Silence. Don't make a fuss.
Goda, what do you have to say about this?
Pop.
Real.
It's coming this way. Dear me. This does not look good.
Ugh, oh, what a scene.
Even though these aren't really like goat eyes, I do hate goat eyes in real life.
Yeah, they're very freaky.
I do not like that they have rectangular pupils.
Yeah.
They saw one of the newly born goat heads slowly. Oh, head slowly towards their window. I was reading it and I was like, huh? There was already a huge swarm of them in the garden, so it was no surprise that when one of them looked around for new prey, it would see the light from this window. Its immense, eerie body slowly approached. As it grew closer, they could finally see it clearly. The eyes blazed, despite being cold, ruthless, and reptilian. Those cruel fangs and jaws could tear apart and crush anything. Any fangs that could chew through brick would hardly have a problem chewing through humans. Its massive body had to be taller than the windows themselves, and it was lumbering towards this window. If only this window was made out of special Ushiromia bulletproof glass.
I doubt even bulletproof glass would stop that thing.
Whoa! It's coming! It's coming! It's running towards us!
Yeah.
Thank you, Cornelia.
Oh gosh.
Dang! Cornelia's getting the
It's a
epic
brand
music
new
right
song.
now. Oh,
This
wow!
one's called Bizarre Divertimento.
The Cornelia song. Okay.
Allow me to speak. Know that this window shall not be breached.
True!
The power of Cornelia's seal formed a shield around the glass. This is the part where everyone gets to work together now. The goat was blown back, unable even to touch the glass because of this power. This is my Avengers Endgame.
Yes.
Its weight made the earth tremble. They could feel that clearly, even inside. But that tremor had also drawn the attention of the nearby goats. A pack of goats started shuffling towards them, and a fight broke out as they each charged forward trying to reach this new prey first. Well, at least they're eating each other, too.
Yeah.
The window protected by Cornelia's seal would probably be safe. However, there were many windows in the Great Hall. For the first time, those windows became a source of terror instead of sunlight and a lovely view.
Gertrude!
Allow me to speak. Know that this window shall not be breached.
Gertrude sealed another window. The goats trying to break in through that one were thrown back. But at the same time, they heard the crash of yet another window being smashed. Scattering fragments of glass everywhere, the massive goats broke through the window frame and entered the building. No, they're gonna get Goda! Whoa! Stay back! Everyone stay back!
Kraus, do it to him.
I'll go.
On
Okay.
the first Twilight, the six, chosen by the key.
Yeah, we're probably just gonna have to do what we did before, where we just like bounce between them.
Yep. Those words really were coming from the goat's mouth, along with a steaming, foul breath. Hit him with the cross counter, Kraus. However, it didn't get a chance to say any more. Okay, or the seven sisters. Okay. Forehead, neck, shoulder, chest, side, gut, knee, all of them. They all
in one.
Yeah, dang. They won't let you touch Kraus. Kraus is their man. Kraus. The stakes of the Seven Sisters buried themselves in deep, one after another.
Bro, I got to see how they did the Seven Sisters on the stage play. It was actually dope.
How'd they do it?
So they had the ones like this that were just there, and what they would do is they would be slightly upstage from whoever they were fighting. In this case, it was Canon versus who was he against? Asmodeus.
Was it Asmodeus or was it Lucifer? I thought he fought Lucifer.
I can't remember.
Because
It
wasn't
was
that the whole
whoever
thing
he
is it
fought in
was like-
episode 2.
Yeah, she was the first of the sisters, so it was like a thing about she's prideful, and then she
Yeah.
loses, quote unquote, but then Canon has to fight the rest of them.
Well, whichever one, it was. They were slightly upstage, and then they dropped a screen down whenever she transformed, and on that screen they played a video of it bouncing around the rest of the room, like a light switch. Ding, 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 ding.
That's cool.
It was very cool. And then they pulled the screen back up when she turned back into the normal form.
Dang. Those Japanese. They know how to
They
make
got away with the
entertainment.
stage plays. Yeah.
What rough, unappetizing flesh for piercing!
I'd hate to have to gobble up any more of these.
I have bad news for you, ladies.
Well, maybe they don't have to do it alone. Yeah, we got 4 guns somewhere. The other windows shattered one after another, and several goats squeezed their way in through the window frames. And also Ronove should be combat ready, and Virgilia, and others.
Others. Yeah.
Honestly, the majority of people in this room have been shown to be able to fight, rather than...
Can they fight enough?
True, true. Perhaps they just have to fight long enough.
Let's see.
The other windows shattered one after another, and several goats squeezed their way in through the window frames. Their mouths were still stuffed with the bricks they had just been snacking on. Each time they chewed, it made a ghastly sound, like bones being crushed.
We will repel them.
Shyster troops, prepare for close-range combat!
Stop! You start firing away and we'll have all the other goats coming to join the party.
Let's fall back to the second floor. If we can seal the staircase, that'll buy us some time.
Everyone upstairs! Hurry! After sniffing noisily as though scanning the smells around them, the goats started chewing on whatever chairs, tables, or curtains were close by. Not the food? The goats would chew anything to bits, as long as it was near them. If the others were careful not to attract the goats' attention, they would be able to escape from this place. The humans ran on up to the second floor, while the illusions, who were used to fighting, guarded the rear. The goats were completely absorbed by their feast on everything in the hall. Dang! No! No! Not the portrait and epitaph!
Gone.
No, anything but the portrait and epitaph!
Gone.
By now, they were even brutally chewing away at the portrait of Beatrice, which could fairly be called the symbol of the Ushiromio family itself.
Battler, the humans have all taken refuge on the second floor.
Good. Dillinor, seal all the staircases.
Gertrude and Cornelia will handle it. However, they need more time.
All over the mansion, there were loud beating sounds that might be called knocks and the sound of shattering glass.
Knox.
Knocks is 7.
That's us. Well now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for work.
7 Sisters of Purgatory right here. Let's go, you lowlifes. Tonight, it's all you can eat. Shyster troops, halt all external tasks. Cancel automatic updates. Accept no data. Take no prisoners.
Whoa.
Heinz and Jungfrau of the 7th District, by the Territory Lord's order, carry out your duty.
I'll lend a hand. Leon, you're in the way. Go up to the second floor.
But Will...
Leave this to us and go. You have your own job to do. Protect your family.
I understand. Everyone, stay safe.
The mansion was filled with the sounds of knocking, crushing, smashing, and shooting. The goats and their wave of destruction was drawing steadily closer.
Lord Battler, Gertrude and Cornelia have finished sealing the other staircases. The large staircase here is the only one that remains.
The other staircases are tiny, so they went fast. On the other hand, this staircase is huge. Looks like you'll have your hands full buying time.
Lambda Delta spoke as though it was someone else's problem. It only took a glance at her face to see that she had no intention of lending a hand. Even so, Beato didn't scold her. This was a game between Battler and Ange. Lambda Delta was only a theater-goer who had been invited. Better than the other two.
Don't think badly of me. Even I'd die if I was torn apart by nothingness. Sorry, but I think I'll stick to being an observer.
Yep, fair enough. Fair enough.
That's what you've always been.
She was a game master once.
Yep.
That is a shame that we can't ask for your help.
Lambda being like, yeah, I'd rather not risk dying in this situation, honestly, if I can. Nah, she's being nice. Doesn't want to steal our show.
Sure, let's call it that.
As a Voyager witch, Lambda Delta could retreat from this game board of battlers if she wanted to. In other words, she was the only one who wasn't in trouble now.
See you later. I think I'll watch this game between you and Burn to the end. I'll be rooting for you. As you munch on popcorn. Of course. I think I'll have some soy sauce butter flavor today.
You didn't have to tell us that. Yeah. Lambda Delta vanished with a pop. As soon as she did, a black hole popped open in midair and Gop fell out of it.
Battler, Richie, could you come here for a second? You should probably see this.
Dang! You're gonna want to see this.
Yes, sir.
Right now?
Yes. Let's go. Everyone, we're counting on you to hold this position.
When Gop snapped her fingers, a large hole, opened up under Battler and Beatrice, swallowing them both. They were spat out into an inky blackness. Both of them were floating in the night sky. Rokkenjima lay far beneath them. And, as soon as they realized this, they shuddered.
This is...
It's not just a crowd. It's a sea. Oh, not the cannon poke noise. It was no longer a crowd of goats, but an entire sea of them. Just as Rokkenjima poked out from the ocean, the mansion was now poking out from a sea of goats. Well, there's one way to get rid of all of them.
Yeah.
I, for one, happen to know that there's a large cache of explosives underneath the island that...
Yeah.
People in the future really are amazing. Just how many of them have imagined a tragedy on this island? It's nothing more than the worthless drivel of those outside the catwalks. Let's clean this place up. Look over there. It's hard to tell, but look at the shoreline.
The shoreline?
It's easy to make out the harbor. Look closely. See it? Don't tell me.
Yeah, you're probably right. They're eating it. Eating the whole island.
Theorists.
Come, try and remember fragments from the future. If only you just chew up all the embellishment, all the illusions, all the fantasy.
As Eva yelled this to the heavens, hovering about the raging sea, hail fell down with a pale glow. Each was an unlabeled bottle with a fragment inside. They poured onto the island, were smashed to bits, and the fragments inside them scattered everywhere. Every now and then, the fragments would split in two, then split in two again, and every single one of them burst and gave birth to a massive goat. To say it was like bamboo shoots springing up after the rain would be a vast understatement. The goats writhed about like bubbling, boiling water in a pot. They ate away at everything they saw. They didn't just eat the harbor, but the trees and the rocks, the entire coastline itself. Hundreds, thousands, no, tens of thousands of goats continued to eat. They were chewing away at every bit of Rokkenjima, of this final game that Battler had prepared.
Too bad, Battler-kun. The future wants a tragedy on this island. Even Ange wants the truth. Don't worry, we'll chew up all the embellishment, illusions, and fantasy for you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Eva. Beatrice. Love you. Dang! True, Onklet. Can't Will just say speculation is as good as fiction, allusions to illusions, and all the goats just disappear?
No, it doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't. Will's not on the... He's not a player this time, so he can't do that.
That's not one of Van Dyne's rules.
By now, Battler and the others had to admit it. The future wanted a tragedy, so prove the future wrong. Even if the truth of this island had been a gentle, peaceful thing, the future didn't want that. The truth they wanted was painting over the past.
The past is such a fragile thing.
Now they're getting into my territory.
I was gonna say.
What the heck? This.
Even the cat box is being chewed apart.
Just who are these people? Are they really so determined to plunge us into a tragedy?
That's all I wanted to show you. Hope this helps a bit when you're making strategic decisions.
Just wanted to show you how boned we are.
I just love Gap saying, hope this helps.
Yep. Like,
actually, you're dead. Hope this helps.
Yeah. Thanks. Now I feel like crap.
Then let's go to the study next, if you don't mind. Goldsmith wants to talk to you.
Gop snapped her fingers. I said snapped like
Snapped!
Gop. Snapped.
Snapped!
Gop snapped her fingers and another black hole swallowed them up and spat them out in the study. Snop.
Spot.
Oh. Ow, ow, ow. Oh, that's you.
Oh,
They're both B names.
True.
God, if you're gonna drop me, at least do it on a bed.
Hey, yo. Grandfather, we're in trouble. There's absolutely nowhere left to go.
I know. And even waiting out the storm from here is not an option.
This is
I
where
don't know
Kenzo
any
breaks out
others.
his Iron Man suit.
I am Iron Man.
I don't know if any others should be able to buy us sometime, but that's all.
Do some warlock stuff, Kenzo. Do some. Make some special absinthe that like blows them up if they eat it.
Yes.
If they just hold up in the mansion, it would only be a matter of time before the swarm of goats got them. Trying to repel a few of the goats barging into the mansion would be like using a cup to bail water from a boat with a hole in it.
Whoever's on the piano right now is going crazy.
Yeah, they.
We can fight defensively for a while, but it's only a matter of time.
You gotta think of some way to go on the offensive. We need to think of something while we fight. Can we escape? Where to? Is there any way for us to leave the game board?
The outside of the game board is beyond the range of our territory. Only a Voyager which could leave.
Only Bernkastel and Lambda Delta could do it. However, there was no way Bernkastel would help. Even Lambda Delta had already announced that she would be an observer instead of lending a hand. So, there's nowhere left to run.
No. There's just one place.
Where?
The Golden Land.
I see. Is that our only option now?
Indeed. The Golden Land is the most impenetrable place on this game board. If we wish to escape, it's that or nothing.
These things are eating the catbox itself. For all we know, they might start chewing away at the Golden Land itself at any moment. What should we do? Better?
No point thinking about it. We're retreating. If we take too long to make a decision, even that road will be closed to us. Evacuate everyone. How can we open the door to the Golden Land?
I just have to open it. However, an immense wave of the anti-magic toxin is emanating from that crowd of goats. It will take some time to open the door.
So, we've only got to protect this study with our lives until the door's open. Just have to keep doing what we've been doing.
There's one more problem. The door to the Golden Land cannot be shut unless two people close it from the outside.
Oh no. Two from the outside. What do you mean? As soon as he said this, Battler realized. This must be the result of some agreement made between the three witches who are one.
Normally, there's no need to go to the trouble of shutting the door. But it won't be so easy this time.
Only you and Beato can fulfill the role of shutting the door.
Me, as the Territory Lord, and Beato. Yeah, it sounds like the safest choice.
Indeed. If it's just the two of us, we might even be able to protect ourselves.
Okay, open the door. Beato waved her pipe, leaving a golden trail behind as she sliced the air vertically. Then, the gap of the door to the Golden Land appeared. It looked like nothing more than a thin golden string hanging from the ceiling. If you look closely, you could see that the string was getting thicker very slowly. The door to the Golden Land certainly was opening, but so slowly that you couldn't even tell if you weren't careful. At this rate, it would probably take quite some time before it grew big enough to let a person through. Grandfather, Gop, we'll need you to be our inner line of defense.
Yes, there may be goats climbing up the outer walls.
Very well. My rifle hungers for some prey.
That's terrifying.
Understood. It'll be fun dropping those things into the abyss.
A giant was sliced at an angle, split into two parts, and fell to the floor, showering it with filthy, dark blood and guts.
Splendidly done.
I'll let you take the next one.
Alright, here you go, Duke Onkled. You'll be happy with this now.
Countless massive goats, which had forced their way in from rooms and windows all across the mansion, wandered about in search of something to chew. Teleports behind you.
Yeah.
Several of the goats noticed the group of people huddled around the staircase and lumbered closer, but they were pulverized by merciless attacks. Runaways' shields easily halted the charging goats, and Vergilia's magic spears were pinning the giants against the walls. Dillinor and Will's blades were also slicing easily through goats. The pinpoint strikes of the Seven Sisters of Purgatory could pierce the vitals and finish off any opponent, no matter how large. The Shyster sisters were holding their own too. They had blasted enough goats to bits with one shot from their high-caliber firearms that you couldn't count the kills with both hands. Given a limited number of opponents, they were more than a match for these goats. However, they were just up against a crowd, but an entire ocean. It was like a pebble trying to face the approaching waves of a stormy sea.
Hurry on that gun barrel replacement. Requesting cover from the Purgatory troops. So, you run out of ammo and you're nothing but rabbits. Lame.
I don't want to hear that from a bunch of 7 paperweights who can only kill one person at a time, yeah?
Yeah, keep them coming. Don't let us get bored.
The hall was filled with massive goat corpses. As if in fear of this sight, the goats that came in one after another formed a wall, keeping their distance.
Gosh, I love this song.
Perhaps they think they're no match for us.
I wish that were true, but it seems to be little more than wishful thinking.
What are those guys doing? They're looking at us and whispering to each other.
Apparently they have the intelligence to talk together and cooperate.
The goats surrounded them at a distance, whispering. Then they nodded at each other as though deciding something, and the whole group stirred.
This is a forum.
What are they doing? It almost looks like they're lining up in a different order.
Yana is changing its formation, and it appears that the individuals with greater destructive power are being gathered in the front lines.
So what? Let's go.
Yes, Onisama!
Wait! Something's wrong!
Lucifer took aim at one of them, going for its forehead. The other 6 sisters followed her lead, trying to pierce the vital organs all over the creature's body. However, there was no sound of pierced flesh. The 7 Sisters of Purgatory were knocked back, unable to cause even the smallest wound.
What? What just happened?
Those guys are talking about something.
The goats kept whispering the same thing over and over as they slowly approached the 7 sisters. All of them whispered unanimously.
All fantasy is fictional.
The 7 Sisters of Purgatory are illusions, personifying stakes for ceremonial sacrifices.
They're actually paperweights. They're actually paperweights.
As they whispered curses that denied the 7 sisters' existence, the goats lumbered closer.
Get back, Purgatory troops! We'll cover you!
It's time you learned a lesson, goats.
Dang! To see the real destructive power of the dang golden thread instead of just killing like 1 or 2 people for once.
Can't wait to play them in the fighting game.
The golden bows of the Shyster troops mowed down the wall of the goats with a shower of bright golden bullets. Some of the goats were torn to pieces, but some of them seemed completely unaffected. Then, the goats who were uninjured all whispered as one. Who was last, me or you?
I did, Matt, because I was paperweights.
Okay.
The Shyster Sisters Imperial Guards. have Maria's rabbit dolls as their vessels.
They're actually rabbit dolls. Maria's imagination, fantasy, fictional beings.
All of the crimes can be explained by mystery. All fantasy is irrelevant.
Remember what I said about the guns? Remember? They can't
Looks
argue
like-
gun. They can't.
Or could they?
We've got lots of people who won't accept the existence of magic.
That's us.
Yes, we are Zepar and Furfur producer.
Oh, yeah. And that means...
No magical attacks will have any effect on them.
Does that mean all of our attacks will be completely useless?
Not right now, GeForce Game Ready Driver. Daddy is working.
But
Sorry.
Endless 9, yeah. If they don't accept that we exist, our attacks can't hurt them, yeah.
Is that possible?
We'll have to test it.
hey, Genji killed someone earlier in the well, he didn't kill someone, but he had combat ability. Get him down here. Ronove stepped forward, stamped on the floor twice, and a red barrier rose up in front of him. The crowd of goats dashed into it with a terrifying force. While some goats were blown away by it, several of them slipped right through the magical barrier.
No, I don't remember.
Oh,
Do
no.
you remember?
Ronove is a creature of magic, a creature of fiction.
Genji is Ronove's vessel. He's an imaginary version of Genji. I see. So even my attacks will not affect some of them.
There was no longer any point in Virgilia trying out her magic spear. Well, I mean, you can still get some of them. You can, like that's been established that you can kill some of them still. I feel like killing some is better than none. Now that some of the goats had decided that her existence was fictional, she could no longer hurt them. Even these great demons and great witches, as well as high-level furniture and weapons, were overcome with fear of the crowd that surrounded them. A crowd that would not be affected by any of their attacks.
What are we going to do? We'll keep fighting until the end. You don't have permission to die in battle.
Well, if you can't fight them with fantasy
Fight them with reality. Or mystery.
or mystery,
Fantasy is all fiction. Fantasy is all fiction. Fantasy is all fiction.
A shriek from one of the goats became a signal for the wall of them to break. They pushed forward with gaping mouths and foul breath, each trying to reach their prey first, trying to return these fictional creatures to nothingness.
Look out!
Virgilia leapt in front of and held several of the seven sisters who had fallen on their butts, overpowered by the ferocity of the approaching goats. Aww. However, even Virgilia was a fictional creature to these goats. They could chew through her like cotton candy.
madam, quickly!
Ronove threw himself at the oncoming goats. Even he would be chewed apart easily. Knowing this, Ronove leapt forward.
Even if my magic no longer functions, I am still the fiercely passionate and loyal man I always was. And furthermore, did you expect that I would simply sit by and watch a lady die?
The way we'll just do it is I'll just do whatever's first, and then if there's more...
Okay,
we can
that's
do it.
easier. That's
Yeah.
easiest.
Ronove is fantasy. Ronove is fantasy.
Ronove slammed his right fist into the side of the goat's face. As soon as he pulled it back, he swung his left leg into the goat's gut, then spun around into a reverse roundhouse that caught the goat again. Ronove knew. He could do less damage than a mosquito bite against those who didn't accept his existence. This was the height of anti-magic defensive power, Endless 9.
Ronove is fantasy, a fiction, an illusion.
The goat swung its log-like fist with a sound like a storm. Ronove dodged by a hair. Had he been an instant slower, that massive arm would have crushed his head like glass.
Ronove! Stop this! Run!
I, Ronove, cannot help but rise to the challenge when I see a lady in a pinch. A bad habit of mine.
Ronove grinned and tried to act tough. He had already sacrificed all he had. There was nothing he could do here and now, except become a shield to buy time. He had already chosen to abandon his life for this.
Ronove is fantasy. He couldn't exist. He couldn't possibly exist.
Illusions do not exist. They do not exist.
Fantasy is all ridiculous. Ridiculous.
The goats kept coming, trying to feast on Ronove. None had any pretensions of making this a one-on-one fight. Nothing mattered except chewing apart fantasy. Even just a nibble. As they gnashed out those ruthless jaws and fangs, they closed in around Ronove. Ronove's foot hit something and he stumbled. At the same instant, several massive arms reached out and lifted him up.
Ronove-sama!
What are you doing, shysters? Shoot them! If that do anything, we would have done it already, yeah?
Everyone, please stand back. I should be able to buy you some time as they savor my flesh. However, I think they'll find that Ronove has quite a few little bones in him.
Huh? An elbow rammed itself into the massive, hideous jaws that were trying to chew Ronove's head. Oh, that's what you meant. Of course, the goat did moan, but that did nothing but deprive just one goat of his right to the first bite of Ronove's head.
It's plankton moan. Yeah.
Many jaws opened wide, trying to crush him and throw him down into those heartless stomachs, which would permit no cheerful illusions to exist.
I won't accept fantasy. Won't accept.
It's possible to explain everything with mystery. Possible.
Fantasy is fake. Everything is mystery.
All of the many arms that lifted Ronove up were sliced off. The seven sisters used this chance to fly forward and grab Ronove, dragging him back. Oh no. Oh no!
Yeah.
Which one of you mentioned mystery? Does Delanor's blade work on them?
I see. I see.
Zephyr, you're a little,
I see. If our foes are calling it a mystery.
Can you see? Delanor's sword's in the way. Blood-red longsword in hand, Delanor slowly walked forward. Behind her walked Will, tapping his back with his black blade. If you don't think this is a fantasy, then let's have your theories.
I cannot wait to hear your explanations.
Oh, not the 1 second of her
Yeah.
freak face, her
Freakinor.
freakinor. The crowd of goats stepped back. Though they had been so vicious against the illusions, they stepped back when faced with this pair wielding swords of mystery.
There have been a great many closed room murders on this game board. Choose whichever you please, and we will parry all of your attacks.
No, we don't have to defend anything.
Indeed. The purpose of a mystery is to offer a challenge. There is no need for us to play defense.
Do you get it yet? This whiplash of voices. You're the ones in the hot seat now.
Oh gosh.
I have got to get this animated.
That's what I've been done saying.
The blue truth cut the goats apart. That blue truth dwelt within each and every one of the riddles from Beato's games so far.
Rare that you see the dual-wielding Dillinor sprite.
Very rare. What about the closed room with the chain? First game, second Twilight. What about the closed room of the chapel? Second game, first Twilight. What about the trick of killing Nanjo? Third game, ninth Twilight. There was no end to the blades.
Man, he thinks he's so cool. And he is.
Dang! The countless riddles Beatrice had left behind became blades, challenges that tore the goats apart. If they wanted to deny fantasy, they would have to make a counter-argument. They would have to deal with every single trick as a mystery. However, while most of the goats called themselves anti-fantasy, they hadn't thought up any answers for the mystery. Though, every now and then, goats with answers did appear.
Someone outside the Ushiromiya family was hiding on the island and...
We've been through all this already, goats. You're so
I've
far
played
behind.
these games before.
Yeah. You're so far behind the learning curve.
Nox's first. It is forbidden for the culprit to be anyone not mentioned in the early part of the story.
There were multiple culprits all working separately, and it just happened to look like a single culprit.
Whoa. Van Dyne's 12th. There must be one true culprit.
You mean everything but that is forbidden?
Boring, right? To have a genre like that. Personally, I think mystery should be more flexible.
The 10 Nox commandments and the 20 Van Dyne rules are behind the times.
The definition of the mystery genre should change with the era.
And now they get uppity.
Perhaps we are behind the times.
In that case, let's see if you have any theories that can satisfy us.
Come!
The whole crowd of goats charged them. In their fangs, each of them carried theories to crush Beato's closed rooms. The bodies of these goats differed from those who had become corpses so easily. They had mystery-style answers to several closed rooms, so it would take several blade hits to give them a fatal wound. However, Beato had left many blades behind. All of them were exceedingly sharp. That goes hard. So, the pair of Inquisitors didn't think this would be a desperate battle. This is mystery. The goal is to use all your imagination and knowledge to challenge each of the riddles head-on. Doing so is the greatest pleasure of the mystery genre. So they laughed. Both Will and Dillinor laughed. With smiles of admiration at the theories the goats had put everything they had into, they countered with blades from all the closed rooms. The crowd of goats was no longer an encirclement, but a great wave threatening to swallow the pair up. And yet, the pair repelled the enemy without giving an inch. They resisted firmly, cutting through the wave of wailing goats. It was like an ice-breaking ship knocking a path through a frozen sea.
They entered the closed room through a hidden passage that no one else could use, and
Oh, you're so
yeah?
far back, man.
Nox is third. It is forbidden for hidden passages to exist.
after the hidden passage was used, it was welded shut and became unusable, so no hidden passage existed at the time of the inspection.
Whoa! Wait, let me see it. Oh my goodness. Dillanor, my beloved, except I shouldn't say that because she's a kid.
Nox is eighth. It is forbidden for the case to be resolved with clues that are not presented.
These are all fake murders, so no one is actually dead. So all the closed rooms were constructed by the so-called victims.
Huh?
Dillanor hesitated for just an instant. After all, this cliched and simple theory managed to get around both Beato's closed rooms and the Nox's commandments. But can it get around Van Dyne's? Dillanor saw nothingness inside the goat's massive jaws.
But in order for there to be a mystery,
Van Dyne's seventh. It is forbidden to have a crime without a corpse. The goat's jaws seemed to close around Dillanor's head. However, the upper and lower jaws were no longer connected, so the upper half merely slid off to the side. That's crazy. I guess even the great Nox forgot to forbid fake murders.
There are many splendid mysteries besides murder.
The goats weren't about to back off and let the pair have a nice long chat about the mystery genre. The next massive figure immediately enveloped them. Will's blade drew a diagonal slash across its chest, but it only cut through its clothes, leaving no wound.
Huh? The 20 wedges won't work on this one.
Dillanor also hit it with her longsword, but still, it just cut its clothes without leaving a mark on its body.
uh-oh.
Could this goat have a theory that doesn't violate Nox or Van Dyne?
Nox and Van Dyne are meaningless. All closed rooms can be explained by a single solution. After all,
Magic exists. In an attempt to stop the goat from saying any more, Will and Dillanor hit it with blades from every closed room, as well as stakes from the 10 Commandments and the 20 Rules. But none of them had any effect. Slowly, the goat clenched its massive fists together and raised them up high.
after all,
Will!
With a roar, Will slammed into the goat with his body. Though its massive bulk bent back slightly, Will was still leaping into a death trap. However, if he hadn't done so, he wouldn't have been able to protect Dillanor. The goat grabbed Will. It lifted him up and held him high in the air. It was like a little kid showing off his favorite toy and waving it around. Dang.
Dang.
let's hear your theory. If I'm to hear a great theory before I die, it'll be fitting for the end of a rite. Van Dyne and Nox are useless for making theories.
The goat's massive hands closed on Will like a vise. All the bones in Will's body were creaking.
Let's hear your theory. Ah! There is no need for a theory.
What?
After all, making theories for any of Beatrice's games is a waste of time. What do you mean? Gah! This isn't an orthodox mystery, so thinking about it is just a waste of time. I won't accept Beatrice's game as a mystery. There are no answers to the tricks. It's all just an illusion.
Well, how do you deal with that one?
It's quite simple, actually.
Yeah.
Thinking is just a waste of time.
If it's all just an illusion, the illusion should be able to hurt them. Will's head was lowered, so his face couldn't be seen. However, the arm of the goat holding him was shaking. The embrace of those log-sized arms with superhuman strength was being slowly pushed away by Will's shaking arms. Thinking is just a waste of time. You say that, and you call yourself a mystery novel reader? Oh. Oh, that's Will still. I thought it was Ronove because he moved. The mystery genre is like chivalry. You fight with the noble rules you've created, with the pride in the stance you've taken. Is it worth being a coward if it'll help you win? Does losing make the whole fight meaningless if you've fought with everything you've had? This isn't about winning and losing. It's about applauding the will to fight, even in the most dire circumstances. The goat's arms were now spread wide, and it looked as though Will was now the one pushing it back. Will's face was covered in shadow and couldn't be seen. People like you, who call themselves mystery readers even though they never even try to solve mysteries. You're the ones I really can't stand. Will slammed his forehead into the goat's now unprotected head. If you call yourself a mystery reader, be proud to join in on a battle of wits. If you call yourself a mystery reader, it's about time you realized. Giving up is nothing to brag about! Will hit it with his head over and over again. His forehead had been torn apart by the goat's fangs, but he kept on hitting it. Van Dyne and Knox may be behind the times. The mystery genre does progress with the time, just like the world around it. However, there's one thing that never changes. That is pride. What is a knight proud of? Not victory. He's proud of his courage, which lets him stand up to anyone without fear. Will couldn't forgive the kind of coward who could turn tail from a fight and then brag about it. Leon, you're supposed to be upstairs. People who call themselves mystery readers. Yup, but who have no pride. Yup, okay, that was correct. Are the only people Will just can't stand. The goat, unable to put up with this anymore, threw Will down to the floor. Then he lifted his fists again, determined to crush Will to pieces this time. Come. You probably will beat me to a pulp, but that'll be no victory for you. You'll destroy your own pride with your own hands.
Pointless, pointless. This is no mystery, so why make theories? Thinking is just a waste of time. Useless, useless, useless. Die, die, die!
A fist, like a cannonball swinging down towards him, was the very last thing Will saw before his eyes shut.
That's you.
Is it Will?
Nope.
Is it Battler?
Maybe.
In this game, if you stop thinking... Oh, that was loud!
Golly.
Oh my goodness, Battler! Ringing throughout my skull. In this game, if you give up, that means you lose, right? Battler smashed his fist into the goat's mouth, and smashed teeth bounced off the ceiling. The ceiling?!
Mm-hmm.
Dang, Battler!
Battler-sama!
If you stop thinking, it means you've given up on the story being a mystery. Which means, as far as you're concerned, this game is a fantasy. Battler lifted up his arm. Realizing this was a signal, Lucifer and Shyster 00 jumped. If you stop thinking, you don't deserve to be an actor on the stage. Stop trying to sound smart and go eat some popcorn from the stands or something. Backhanded attack at Lambda Delta? The goat lifted his fist again, then swung it down at Battler like a hammer.
Yeah.
If you've surrendered to fantasy, that just makes you another target, yeah. It's the same as acknowledging that we exist.
Begin recognition of hostile elements. Mark all targets vulnerable to magical attacks in our HMDs.
Kids who surrender to fantasy get to deal with us. And if you have a theory, we will hear it out.
We'll welcome those people with open arms. Out of respect for them, we won't hold anything back.
Oh, but it would seem that this is Battler-sama's time to shine.
While I'd like to listen to all your favorite theories, both mystery and fantasy, this isn't your game right now. No matter how much your future fragments try to deny us, this is no time for me to be defeated.
Oh.
A golden glint gathered in Battler's hand. It was so bright that the whole hall was bathed in gold. I just want to check. Yup! I was like, this is kind of what it looked like when it was blue, so I want to see if it made it yellow.
Someone peed on the game.
Battler! Aglia. Golden butterflies flitted about, as though the whole room was being swallowed up by the golden land. The golden sword! It's been a while.
Yeah.
Battler lifted his golden longsword high. Feel free to challenge Beato's game as a mystery or a fantasy. I welcome it. But I'm not going to let you deny this final game of mine. Feel the shame of your indiscretion, of impugning the honor of those who have passed away. A slice of the golden longsword flooded the hall with a sea of golden light.
Whoa, that's a... do I know that word?
Huh?
That word was impugn. Or impugning.
Yeah, like you impugn upon someone.
Have I heard this before? Do I know this word?
Certainly you have.
I probably have. It's freaking dope.
Then, the whole group of goats clambered about the hall, turned into clouds of gold butterflies, and headed it. Scattered. I was going to say shattered. Even so, only about 100 of them had been wiped out. Before long, the massive crowd of goats outside would probably come pouring in. The seal Gertrude and the others are working on will be finished in a bit. Sorry, but I'll have to ask you to hold out here a little longer.
Of course, Lord Battler!
Otherwise, we wouldn't get to show off.
You two haven't done anything. Dang it! You know, you two could try fighting just a little.
But...
We're
Just the MCs!
Their excessively blunt refusal drew a few strained smiles. However, it had lessened the tension in the room just a bit. It really is.
Love that they still have the applause.
Yep. It follows them wherever they go.
Battler-sama, leave this to us.
That is a great idea for a homebrew D&D magic item, by the way.
We won't allow the erosion to proceed any further.
And not one of us will be left behind.
Of course. We are all precious pieces on Lord Battler's game board.
The Seven Sisters of Purgatory, the Shyster Sister Corps, and everyone else nodded forcefully. Yeah, I'm counting on all of you. We'll definitely protect this final game I made for Ange. They're managing to hold their ground down below.
The door to the Golden Land continues to open slowly. It will still take some time, though.
That's right. We better start buying some time ourselves. The sea of goats that covered the ground below them was jostling about more and more. By now, even the sea surrounding the island had disappeared. It's all goats! The horizon was gone, and the chewed-up island was now floating on an eerie emptiness like space. The goats that flooded the edges of Rokkenjima seemed to be spilling off the sides. Dang. Looks like that's it for this game board.
As long as there's a game master in pieces, the game board can always be laid out again. As long as you have two people together, you can create any sort of game.
True. Where on earth is Ange?
Where did you hide that?
That's right. The chapel. What's happened to the chapel?
It's still there.
The chapel looked like a white building floating in the pitch-black sea of goats. Yes, this was strange. There was no way those goats who consumed everything would go out of their way to avoid just the chapel. That's where Ange is. We can have a Battler Ange showdown? Outside the chapel was a sea of goats. Very soon, the earth around the chapel would be eaten away, and it would probably end up floating on nothingness. The rampage of the goats, as they devoured everything and recited the tragedies they had imagined, was truly making a lot of noise. However, none of that reached inside the chapel. Ange finally broke the magic seal on the entrance and stepped inside. The seal was supposed to be unbreakable by anyone. However, in the face of Ange Beatrice, Witch of Truth, the one who sought the truth and could sweep aside all forces that prevented her from finding it, no barrier was absolute.
There it is.
A single book, tightly locked, rested on the altar. It was the hidden diary that Ushiromiya Eva had continued to write in, even in her later years. The book of the single truth. It was the one Featherine had shown her in the world of 1998.
This time, I have the key. I gripped the gold key that sat in my pocket, the key Oni-chan gave me. As I approached the altar, I saw that book of the single truth. I saw that the book of the single truth was wrapped in a strange bending of the light. So, this is that seal of the Game Master that Bernkastel talked about. The book of the single truth was sealed in something like a crystal. It was a seal made by the Game Master's authority. This was on a different level than the breakable magic seal on the chapel door. No matter...
Oh, okay, now I'm not Ange. No matter how Ange used her power as a Witch of Truth, this couldn't be broken by anyone except the Game Master. However, this time, Battler wasn't the only Game Master.
So sorry, Oni-chan. Bernkastel is a Game Master too. I just need to take this to her and have her break the seal.
Ange slowly approached the altar.
Will Ange really do as you say?
This is my little sister we're talking about. So yeah, probably not.
Then what will we do?
Looks like we've got nothing to go on but brute force. Dang! At that moment, a fierce impact hit the pair of them. Beato was flung away, and Battler was sealed inside a massive crystal that extended up to the heavens. Damn, what the hell is this?
Battler! What is this?
It was a barrier, a massive cage of crystal. Battler was shut inside a crystal cage like a tower, so large that you had to look up to see the top. Beato, I need you to take care of Ange.
What will you do? Can you break free from this all by yourself? From the inside? Is this a closed room barrier? Who could have...
There's only one person who challenged me with a closed room. Looks like our final guest has finally arrived.
You don't mean...
Go, and take care of Ange. It's gonna be fucking Erika. Vieto left Battler to handle this on his own and headed for the chapel. Battler took a deep breath, then smiled daringly. I've been waiting for you. Was it boring in that depths of oblivion place? The answer was a laugh. Yeah, that's right. That laugh is enough. Looks like you're doing well.
It wasn't boring. After all, I believed.
I'll bet you did. I believed too. Oh! Battler flung off the cape of the territory lord. It would only get in the way. And it would be a rude way to welcome his final guest.
Those dark depths were the perfect place to think up mysteries I could fight you with when we met again.
So, this crystal cage is the ring for our duel. A chain deathmatch with nowhere to run.
I want this animated so bad.
Now that you mention it, we're always fighting over closed rooms with chains.
Then let's use that. Make it a real chain deathmatch.
I'm prepared. But what about you?
I am. I told you, didn't I? I believed too. At the same time, they both brandished their mysteries, sealing the other in a chained, closed room. Come, Furudo Erika!
Entertain me, Battler son!
This is Dread of the Grave More Fear remake.
Dang!
Yeah,
More Fear remake.
it's a brand new
doubled it up.
version. Yeah.
At the same time, they were both sealed inside a closed room locked with a chain. Of course, it was easy to set and unset the chain from the inside. We're back! We're back! Not again! Please! Please, not the closed room!
Yes.
However, stepping into their opponent's chained room would be difficult. They were fighting to the death with two chain closed rooms at once. There could be no better closed room duel for these two, who had battled with theories concerning chained rooms so often. Furudo Erika committed suicide, died in an accident, died of an illness, died of some reason other than homicide.
It wasn't a suicide. It wasn't an accidental death. It wasn't a death by illness. I really was killed by you, Battler son.
It was a murder committed by slipping poison gas through the crack of the door, by filling the room with water and drowning you, by sucking the oxygen out of the room and making you suffocate.
There was no poison gas. There was no drowning. There was no death by suffocation. A closed room murder with poison gas, death by drowning, suffocation.
Crazy, right? It's funny, isn't it?
Hit her with the tiny bombs, Battler.
My ultimate move.
Good though. Ushiromiya Battler committed suicide. He died in an accident. He was killed by an illness. Time for me to test your closed room.
Red truth. Ushiromiya Battler was stabbed to death. Let's say the weapon was a knife stuck right into his back.
Good though. Nothing beats a classic closed room.
Then why don't you try it too?
I'll take that challenge with the red shoe. Furudo Erika was stabbed to death. The weapon was a knife stuck right in her back.
These two dinguses made the exact same closed room for each other. God
playing chicken.
damn it.
They're waiting to see who's gonna say tiny bombs first.
Interesting. I'll tear your closed room to bits.
What's this supposed to be?
Battler is busy at the moment. For now, I shall be your opponent.
Oh, they got a red one. Beato had sealed the chapel with a closed room barrier. Unless that riddle was smashed with blue truth, Ange wouldn't be able to leave. After shrugging impatiently, Ange finally faced Beato.
This might be the first time I fought you directly.
Did you notice this? This is one of the few times it shook out where it's you and me versus you and me.
Dang, yeah. Wow.
Oh, is it now? Very well, let's see what you've got.
It was fate that this would align at the very end of the series. You could even say it might have been magic.
Seagulls. Oh,
Dang.
sorry.
However, Battler isn't here at the moment. When he's not around, I sometimes forget to hold back.
Sister-in-law's about to tell you to step off.
What a coincidence. I feel the same.
I killed you inside a perfect closed room with windows, doors, and all other methods of entry or exit blocked.
Okay, I'll play along with your game. Repeat it.
Ooh,
That's the end of the chapter.
ooh. There's a feeling in my bones that I haven't felt since episode 4.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I probably felt it at the end of episode 5 as well, with the when Battler became Territory Lord for the first time.
Yeah.
But still, it's a very rare feeling.
Indeed. I forgot to mention it, but the last chapter, which was the one of solving the mystery and everything, was called The Visitor Who Came Late. Because, yeah. And then this past one we just did was called Black Cat Scratch Marks.
Okay.
Now,
Well, it's been about 2 hours. A little bit more than 2 hours.
I was going to say, I
been
got
2
work
chapters.
tomorrow.
We got stuff we gotta do because we had to run this stream a little bit later than we usually do.
Indeed, I had life stuff this time.
Yep. So, we'll have to save it there. But, even at the same time, we still pretty much managed to crack out a normal stream. It's not like we're leaving you with less than we normally do. So,
True.
alright. You know the drill, sir.
Yeah. You want to know. You want to hear what's going on.
This is our end of stream ritual.
I believe Jordan is streaming this weekend. At first I wasn't sure, but I think she put a thing on one of our announcements that she was. So maybe stay tuned for that. But otherwise,
He's here.
huh? Oh my gosh.
I know you just came here and you haven't been here the whole time, you little...
I hope he hasn't been here the whole time.
I know you wouldn't watch it because of obstinance. I know.
Sunday we continue. And I don't know about you, but this coming Sunday I'm the freest I've been in a while. So I'm hoping we can get some good stuff done.
I should be good this Sunday. Nothing should get in the
Yeah.
way like it did last time. So,
I certainly don't think we'll be able to finish, but we'll probably be able to make a dent.
yeah, we can get a good crack in. More than a 2-hour stream probably.
Yep. And then Tuesday is Fallout. Continuing the Fallout New Vegas. I gotta go retrieve the platinum chip from Benny.
You did tell me
And-
you fixed it.
I did.
Congratulations. How'd you fix it?
Thanks. Spit on that thing.
Dang, okay.
Okay. I don't know. I just kept messing around and it worked this time.
That is kind
Although
of how you have to do it with New Vegas sometimes.
the really, really funny thing was it didn't crash a single time, and then right towards the end of the stream, what actually ended up making me quit the stream for the day, was I had taken the Mysterious Stranger perk because I heard from somebody IRL that it was funny.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time that it procced, he killed somebody, and then I got stuck in the VAT screen.
Dang!
So it didn't crash,
It just
but I
broke.
couldn't keep playing. Yeah, I could.
That's really funny.
So-
Oh, what a scuffed series. What?
Truly. But I'm determined to finish it. Now that I've been to New Vegas, and I feel like I'm kind of on the fast track. I feel like I could probably bang it out the rest of the way in like 2-3 more streams if I had to guess, without crashing.
Yeah. The scuff gives it character, though, I think.
Precisely. And I met cool Mr. Houseman.
Yeah.
But so yeah, that's Tuesday. And that's it, I think. I think that's it.
Okay. Dylan, I'm going to need you to say all that with red, by the way. But,
Yeah.
anyways. Yeah. And then we'll be back on Sunday with Umineko.
Mhm.
Probably not the end yet,
Yeah.
but we're getting close.
You're
I'm going to be so melancholic when it happens, guys. I know I've been saying it, but I'm going to be like such a mixed bag of feelings when we get done. But
yes.
we'll save that for another day.
Yeah. That's what the
Bye-bye.
fighting